broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Spotlight On. I am Cathy Kelley, and joining me today, a very special guest, actress from Every Which Way, Melissa Carcache. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And you got to witness our firsthand. We were moving studios, so
yes.
You got to see very behind the scenes today.
I did. It's actually really cool to see like this part of like the business.
Well, I'm sure you get to see behind the scenes all the time when you were taping at Nickelodeon.
Yes.
I want to talk all about Every Which Way because I know that you filmed the final season in the Everglades, which that has to be so cool.
Yeah, it's very humid in the Everglades. I mean, I'm from Miami and I've actually never been to the Everglades, so it was actually really cool for me to like see it for the first time and do it with the cast, which made it like really special. But yeah, it's very muggy in the Everglades. It's not good for hair and makeup at all.
I was going to say lots of hair and makeup touch-ups, I'm sure.
Luckily, I had a French braid. I was so surprised I got away with that. I begged, like, Nickelodeon. I was like, please let me have something that has, like, my hair away from my face. And they approved it, so I got really lucky.
That's awesome. Yeah. So on this show, we take it back to the very beginning of how you got your start in the industry. Like you said, you grew up in Miami.
Yes.
What was family life like growing up?
I have a really big family. I'm Cuban, so we're kind of like the Italians, I guess. We just have like a lot of family. So growing up was really awesome. You know, I'm a very family-oriented person, so I really like to spend time with them. So yeah, I got my start around 14. I really wanted to start acting when I was little, but my mom didn't let me.
Why didn't she let you?
I think it was more because she wanted me to kind of live out my childhood. She knew that like if I started early, I would I want to go to school, I would have friends or anything, like kind of like a normal childhood. And I'm kind of grateful she did that because like now that I'm older, I'm like, you know, that was a really good decision on her part, although I didn't agree with it in the beginning.
Yeah.
So after like many years, right about 14, she was like, okay, fine. She said, you just start taking classes, get
she
a manager.
Gave in.
Yeah, she gave in. I persisted.
You did theater growing up though, right?
Yes, I actually did a lot of ballet growing up.
Okay.
And then I did a lot of theater, local theater, before I actually got like a manager and started auditioning for TV and film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have two siblings, right?
I do. Okay. I have a sister named Stephanie Carcache, who's a singer, and a brother, Christian Carcache, who's a drummer, actually.
Both of them musical, obviously. Yeah. Did you ever want to pursue music or no?
That would not be a good idea. I did not get the musical gene.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at that.
Okay. Fair enough. Me neither. But your family, like your parents, neither of them are involved in the industry, right?
No, they're actually in construction.
Wow.
Which is different.
That's interesting, like both of them being in construction and then all of you and your siblings are creative types. So
I know. I mean, it's funny. Like my mom, she actually like was like a dancer. She was in her dance team. She did ballet growing up. So maybe we got some of that from her. And then my dad also like sang and he directed in college. So I feel like they did have creative genes.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they ended up in construction. It's so like random. And then like their 3 kids are like super in the entertainment business, which is weird because you never get multiple children like be creative. You always get maybe like 1 or something, but all 3 of us. So
that's awesome though.
Yeah,
you can help
really
each other out or understand what each other's going through.
Yeah, my sister and I talk about it all the time. It's like I feel like nobody really understands me more than she does because it's like she gets what it is to have such a passion and especially entertainment. It's hard. It's a hard competitive business. But when you have like a sibling that's in it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. When you were 14, when you started auditioning, how was it? That was in Miami, right? Mm-hmm. So how was that scene for commercials and stuff like that?
It was actually a little bit hard for me because Miami is a very Latino-based city. So there's a lot of things that are filmed there in Spanish. So commercials, a lot of the, telenovelas and things like that. And although I do speak Spanish with my family, I don't speak it fluently enough to be on television. So that was a little bit hard for me. So I did a lot of non-speaking commercials or one-liners in Spanish and things like that. I mean, Every Which Way was a big surprise. I did not expect that at all to happen to me in Miami, having the circumstances that I'm in.
Yeah. When was the pivotal moment where you were like, I have to move to Los Angeles?
I actually was 18. So I moved to LA for the first time at 18. So right after high school, I told my mom, I was like, I am packing my bags and I am going to LA.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay. That's all she wanted was just for me to graduate high school. So I did, and then it didn't go so well. It was really hard. I actually didn't even get any auditions, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, it was I did, out of the 3 years that I lived here, I would say I think I booked one commercial for Intel, and I think that was it. I think everything else was some extra work and things like that, but it was very, very tough.
So how do you overcome something like that? How do you keep going?
It's it really depends on the person. I think that if you really want it bad enough, you continue to try. Because for me, this is all I ever wanted to do with my life. It was never I woke up one morning and was like, let me try to be an actress. Maybe if I did it, it would be cool. No, it's I've always known this is what I wanted to do. So I've been after it since I was 5 years old.
No plan B. That's the way to go.
Plan B. So I hope this works out because there is no plan B. That's it. This is all I have. I have nothing else I'm good at.
So when you did move out here, did you immerse yourself in acting classes? What was your first step?
Yes. The first thing I did was get into as many. I mean, my resume, my manager and I, we joke all the time. I don't know. We got to cut classes because I'm I don't have space in my resume to put how much training I have. The first thing I did when I got here was just classes. And I mean, I recommend that for everybody. I mean, and I was in classes with people who were on television, which was really cool because I got to see what they do and the stuff that I was like, well, maybe I should work on that. And it was just a really good experience.
Pick their brain a little bit.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So Every Which Way, that is kind of your biggest role to date.
Yeah.
What was the first thing you did when you found out you booked the role?
Okay, so at the time I was working with my parents because I had moved back to Miami, and I was working with them, and I was having lunch in the little it's not a cafeteria, it's what do you call a little kitchen? It's a little kitchen in their office building, and my agent called, and I was having lunch, and then she had told me I almost choked, and she was like, you got the role, and I was just crying and freaking out because I couldn't believe it. I had been waiting such a long time for something like this, and I actually, because at the time they didn't tell us it was called Every Which Way. At the time they were calling it Grachi, which is actually our Latin American version of our show, which came out before us. So all this time I thought, well, I guess they're going to continue in Latin America, but I didn't think it was going to air in the U.S., pretty much.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was going to be as big as I thought. But to me, I was like, this is amazing. I'm going to be able to act and be on a show. And I remember the first day at the table read, they were like, no, this is for Nickelodeon US. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is huge. I was freaking out. So it was a big deal. It's a big deal.
What was the audition process like for the show?
Believe it or not, it was so easy for me.
Really?
And really fast, yeah. I auditioned in Miami with Lori Weinman, who's an amazing casting director down there. And I went in, I did the first audition, then the callback, and then 2 weeks later they called me that they wanted to put me on hold for the role. And I was like, whatever happens after this point, I'm okay with it, But inside, obviously, I really wanted it.
Because as an actress, you go through that so much, too.
Yes, it's the worst.
Where it's so close, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is going to be life-changing, and then nothing.
And then nothing happens, yeah. And then a week after that, they were like, okay, so you have to be on set in a few days. And I was like, so I got the part. It was just super fast. It was I booked the part, and then pretty much the whole thing in 3 weeks, I was already in the first table read. So it was really fast.
And was the transition super easy for you? Did you click with everyone immediately? Or?
Oh, yeah. What's funny and what's great about our show, too, is this was everyone's kind of biggest project, I guess you would say. A lot of them have done other things before, but this is their first big show. So we were all learning at the same time, and we were kind of all thrown in at the same time. So it was a really good bonding experience for the cast. So we kind of got to start and grow together, which was nice.
Yeah, and spend those 4 seasons together, too.
I know.
Is it bittersweet now that it's over?
It It is. For me, it is. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, it definitely is. I think it's been an amazing experience. It's opened up a lot of doors for me in my career, and just as a person, I feel like I've grown a lot, and I'm just ready to see what happens next. It's exciting. Yeah. I'm back in LA, which is nice. I never thought I'd be back here again, but I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm
When
excited.
did you officially make the move back?
So I actually... July 1st of this year. Yeah.
So very recently.
Very recently.
And you like it so far?
I love it. I mean, I feel like I've never left, which is so bizarre.
Yeah.
Because every time, like, during hiatus of the show, I would come back and, you know, kind of try to see what I can maybe, like, do other things and stuff like that while we were on hiatus. And I never felt like I left LA. It was just like, okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
You know, it was just one of those feelings. It's weird.
Yeah. What was your job? I'm curious. You said that when you moved back to Miami, you were working with your parents. What was your job there?
Oh my gosh. So a lot of people would think that, like, working with your parents, it's easy because you get, like...
No special treatment at all.
No. Like, I love you, Mom and Dad, but no, it was no special treatment at all. They actually had me do a lot of stuff. So my dad does, like, a lot of government jobs. So to get those things, you pretty much do, like, a bidding process, and you have to go out and look for the jobs, things like that. So that's what I would do. And I would actually walk the jobs, like, to see if it was, like, the right fit for my dad's company, things like that. So I would be, like... Which I actually started in the beginning wearing heels because I thought it was very professional. It's not.
Dress for the job you want, but if you want to be an actress and you're working in construction, that doesn't always work.
No, I was like, I'm never wearing heels again, like stepping on all like these, like, oh no, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And then if it would be a right fit, then I would go back and I would do all the paperwork. But the thing about the paperwork and bidding is like, if you miss one thing, it could be a paper, a certificate, anything, you lose the job. Even if you're the lowest bidder, like, you lose the job. So it was up to me to make sure that everything was, like, presented the right way, because if not, and my dad would have gotten the job, he would have lost it because I would have lost the paper. So it was very, thankfully,
stressful.
In the few years, I think I did it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
I never messed up once.
Really?
So, yeah.
Are you perfectionist then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah. I'm
That definitely
helps. I'm a perfectionist.
And what were you doing when you were in Los Angeles the first time, other than taking classes?
Well, I was switching agents a lot because nobody would send me out on auditions. So I was like, well, maybe it's the agent.
Yeah.
So, I made a lot of friends, a lot of people that were in the industry. So that was really cool because I got to see not just like the professional side in class, but also like the personal side. And I had a lot of them that were, you know, actually famous. One of my good friends, Tiffany Thornton, that was on Sunny with a Chance on Disney Channel, when she booked that role, we were super close at the time, and we still are. And I actually got to see her start something and have it blow up in front of her face. So that was, I was like, wow, this is like so cool. So when I did Every Which Way, I was able to like get some pointers from her as to how to deal with kids and be on a kids TV show and
mentally prepare yourself for it.
Yeah. I felt like that watching her go through it kind of prepared me for this show. So it was really cool.
They say to never work with kids and never work with animals, and that's essentially what you did on Every Which Way. So how was that? Do you have any like crazy stories from it, or?
You know, thankfully the kids on the show are great. Yeah. So I have no complaints about that. The animals, on the other hand, are, some of them were scary. Like we had like a snake on set, like this really long boa, was huge. I mean, he was very intimidating. I couldn't even get near him, and I had to shoot a scene. It was just, you know, it's like one of those things, you know when you watch Discovery Channel, where you're just like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not like in the Amazon. You know, and it's like, well, here I am in a very close set with this really large snake. I don't think this is safe, you know? It was one of those things just very intimidating.
I think that's just like one of the times where you're like, oh, like you have to put it around my neck so I could not be scared about it anymore.
I can't do that.
What?
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I couldn't. So many of the kids did it. Like, you know, Daniela, who plays Andy, she had it around her neck, and I was like, can't wait. It was like, because like the head would go out. I was like,
do it for the Instagram. You have to.
I was considering it, but I couldn't. I was like, I'll hold the bunny. I was like, I'll do that, but I'm not going to hold the snake, no.
The snake would probably eat the bunny while you're holding it.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about it. Thankfully,
I'm sorry
they
I
were
brought
in
it up.
separate cages.
So moving forward, I know you just moved back to LA.
Yeah.
I heard you're working on a fashion project as well.
I am working on a fashion project, actually with Compassion Brands, which is a really good positivity driven brand, which I'm really excited about. So we're going to start working on that really soon. So I'm like thinking of how I want to do, like, it's going to be like t-shirts and things like that, positivity. It's going to say like positive things and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And fashion's something that you've always been interested in as well.
Yes.
So that perfect brand marriage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I really love fashion. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if it's a Latina thing, I don't know what it is, but I feel like
a girl thing, maybe.
Yeah, it's a girl. I'm just such a girly girl. Like, I love doing my hair and getting dressed, so yeah, I love fashion. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to express yourself in different ways.
Yeah. And you're still working on acting, though, right? For all of your fans who were wondering about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any dream roles coming up?
There's some stuff that's in the works now that I'm very excited about. But as far as dream roles go, I mean, I'm really open to anything that really challenges me. Every Which Way was definitely a challenge in the way that we shot it, and it was a different type of style for me. But I would love to do a nice independent film, something that I can really just like have fun and kind of get gritty with like the characters and stuff like that, and maybe like since a lot of it's done like on locations, so it's something more simple. I would like to try that.
That would be the polar opposite of Nickelodeon, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it. I think it would be like a challenge.
Yeah. Do you have an actress or actor that you kind of look up to, or aspire to be?
I love Angelina Jolie. She's my favorite. I actually really like Bradley Cooper. Which is like, at first when I saw him in The Hangover, I was like, he's just so cute. But then I saw him in like Silver Linings, and I've seen everything else he's done in American Sniper, and I really respect him. So I'm a big fan of his too.
He has some cool choices that he's made as far as projects to attach himself to.
Yeah, but I love that, because that's the fun thing about acting, you know, because all the things like, maybe like a role that, like for him, like he would always probably play a certain type of role, but I feel like him taking on new roles, it's like, well, you know, I could do this too, and challenge himself, and I respect that, because I feel like you can't get too comfortable. You have to always continue to challenge yourself. I think that's important.
I know Angelina stepped behind the camera to direct. Has that ever been something that you considered?
Yes. Not direct, though, actually. I actually really enjoy writing. So writing and producing is actually one of the things I would like to get into.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. When I moved back to Miami and things didn't go well for me in LA, my dad was like, you should really maybe try writing. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I was like, I don't know how to write a script. But I tried it, and I actually fell in love with it. So it's actually been something that I've been passionate about for quite a few years now. So
I feel like writing is therapeutic, and it's also, with acting nowadays, like you can create your dream roles for yourself.
Yeah, totally. It's really fun. And it's a challenge. Which, again, I love.
So, bucket list moving forward, is there anything that you want to accomplish, either just for fun or career oriented?
Definitely in the writing side. I would love to try to do that, because I feel like it's not something I've ever done before. And I would love to travel and like just visit different places in the world and kind of meet different people. Like, I'm very intrigued as to people, you know. I feel like maybe that's the actor side of me. And go to different places. And I actually, one of my good friends that's actually on the show, Mia Matthews, went to India, and she did some charity work there, and I was seeing her pictures, and I was like, that is so cool. Like, because it wasn't like Abu Dhabi or Dubai, it was like India, and that's really cool, because that's where you really get to see the real people of like the country and stuff. So yeah, that's on my bucket list.
What is the one place where you want to go, like travel wise?
Okay, I have to say it's Paris, because I've never been.
Okay.
So that's like number one. Once I get Paris out of the way, then it's like, okay, now I can go and see like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm dying to see. It's like, I don't know, it's like,
it's gorgeous.
Oh, it's so
magical.
Pretty. I want to go so bad. I honestly just want to sit in a cafe, have a cappuccino, a croissant, and wear a beret. Like, that's it. And just like people watch and be like
most stereotypical Parisian experience.
That's like what I want. Any macaroons. Oh, I can't forget the macaroons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And fashion, that's like one of the biggest fashion capitals.
I actually don't own a Chanel bag now, but my dream is to go to Paris and buy my first Chanel in Paris.
Okay.
So
that's
I know
expensive.
It is expensive, so I gotta start saving up now.
Yeah. Hypothetical question. Your friend has never tried Cuban food. What is the first dish you make them try?
Oh, that is hard. That is so hard, because we have so many good dishes. I would say something simple, like there's something called pan con lechon, which is pork.
Okay.
It's shredded pork. Delicious on Cuban bread. And if you really want to get Cuban, you put these pieces of called chicharrón inside, which is pretty much the pig's skin.
What?
But it's like fried. Yeah, but it's really delicious.
I was like on board with that until you said pig skin.
Yeah, it's actually really, really good. It's really good. Like, it's not like when you think of it. Like, you're like, ew, it's like, no, it's not like when you think of it.
Maybe if you didn't tell me what it was before.
I won't. You know what? I'll bring it to you next time. I'm not going to tell you what's in there.
Can you just bring me plantains? Like, that's...
Oh my gosh, I can live on plantains. Like, white rice, black beans, and plantains, I'm good to go.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, if you could only eat one meal the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, that's tough. I think it would be that, but it could also be pizza, and it could also be sushi.
Okay.
So those three things are like, those are the things I crave all the time. Yeah.
Sushi's good. Pizza's great.
Oh, God, I can't. Just the smell of pizza, I'm like, I gotta have it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So this is a very weird question, but I feel like I get to know someone by asking this question. So, what is your favorite kind of cereal?
Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes, okay.
But I have to say, I just tried this new one from Whole Foods called, I don't know, it's like Cocoa Puffs or something, but it's like a healthy Cocoa Puffs. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's chocolate. It makes your almond milk chocolate. Like, it's amazing.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, it's really
you have
good.
it with almond milk then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to be healthy, except for like Saturdays and Sundays, and I do what I want.
I love cereal, so I had to ask.
It's so good.
But also, I want to ask, if you were an emoji, which emoji would you be? And why?
Ooh, okay. So, I usually, like, the one that I use a lot is, like, the one that's like this. With, like, the rosy cheeks.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's so friendly. And it goes with, like, every text. You know what I mean?
I can see
one,
that.
Yeah. Or the tongue. That's, like, my favorite one, too. Yeah, those two are my go-to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then... I know that you have a lot of advice for young girls that want to maybe follow in your footsteps, and one of the things that you said is never give up on your dreams.
Yeah.
So just explain that, or like maybe some of the hardships that you've gone through that can inspire others.
I mean, for me, you know, never giving up on your dreams has been said over and over again. And, like, people are like, oh, because I remember as a kid, like, I would watch Nickelodeon a lot. And I remember watching the Kids' Choice Awards, and Amanda Bynes was, like, accepting an award. And I was watching it. She was like, never go up on your dreams. And I would be sitting there. I'm like, I'm not giving up on mine. Nothing is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I get it that sometimes, like, that saying has been repeated so much. People are like, but for me, it was really important. Because, like, my dad was like, if you really look at it, it's like you really... If you give up on your dreams, that's the definition of true failure. So if you continue to, like, persist and go behind what you want to do in your life, chances are you're going to get there. You don't know when.
Everyone has a different path, too.
Exactly. I know. A stylist of mine actually had asked me that, because she was like, why do you think it's taken you so long to actually, you know, get to where you are today? And I said, honestly, I just think it's my journey.
Yeah.
You know, I just think this is just my story. I feel like everybody's is different.
Yeah.
So I had to experience things that maybe another girl, you know, doesn't have to experience, or another guy. So I feel like it's just the journey. And I think everybody has to embrace that and know that there is, you know, light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Because you will get there.
I feel like the people that it takes a little bit longer, they appreciate it that much more, too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I remember waking up and going to set every day and just, like, thanking God every single day. Because I was like, never thought, you know.
Yeah.
It's not that I never thought I would get there. Like, I always knew that I would. I just didn't know when. I didn't know how old I was going to be or what it was going to... I mean, I never thought I would be on Nickelodeon, you know? I always thought Nickelodeon was, like, you know, when you're, like, 12 or 14, you know? that didn't happen for me. So I feel like, you know, you just have to be grateful. I feel like in anything that you do, you have to be grateful because, you know, you're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And you should always do positive things and use it for good.
Especially in the industry, because it's like, wait, we get to do this.
It's crazy. I know. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I know, because sometimes I'm, like, on set for all these hours, and I'm like, this is work? I was like, I don't understand how this is a job.
Get to hang out with your friends, get your hair and makeup done.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's just fun. And you get to play.
Pretend.
You get to play pretend.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
So this brings us to our shameless plug section. So if people want to find you on Twitter, on Instagram, figure out or follow you on your journey, let us know.
Okay, so yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Melissa Carcache, Twitter at Melissa Carcache, Tumblr at melissacarcache.com, and I have a Snapchat, which is Melissa Carcache too.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for coming in today. It was so much fun. You can follow me on Twitter at Catherine Kelley. Follow all of us here on Twitter and Instagram at AFTERBUZZ TV. Thank you again, Melissa. This was so much fun.
Thanks.
And hopefully you'll be back when you have something else.
I will.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.